Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to Castlevania Lord of Shadows Mirror of Fate HD. Good chance we'll finish this game in this recording. We have a couple of collectibles to get, and that is kind of it. Let's see, over here is where the bell fell through the floor, and somebody has rebuilt the floor conveniently for us, and we could use that to go the way we came, which I guess is the wrong direction. And it seems like there's something over here to collect again. The toy maker. New bestiary for the toy maker. That leaves us with only 3 toy maker things. And again, we get the spoiler. We're not going to be fighting the toy maker. So somebody spent some time here animating this guy for what was 2 seconds of an appearance. Like, clearly this game is unfinished. Clearly, every single character that we don't fight as any of the characters are somebody that were people that we were going to fight. Unless there's a 4th act in this terrible game, which that would not make me super happy, quite frankly. If there's just more gameplay here. So I have to double tap. I hate to double tap to make run. But I have to get in running mode, and I don't have a lot of room to do it. To jump that way. One assumes that there's no collectible up here. Or down there. Here we have the Demon Lord. So this is the guy we just fought in quick time events, and we know we're not going to fight him. And he was like the first one we fought in the entirety of the game, in a flashback. So there's only one more bestiary, and it's probably just going to be a indicator of yeah, and there's no more collectibles. So I don't know how I could have gotten up to level 18, because it seemed for a long time there I was XP locked. Couldn't get any more XP by just grinding and fighting enemies, so I skipped quite a few fights, and now it seems like there's nothing else that can be done. We have this green teleporter, which I guess we want to use the green teleporter and see where it goes. I doubt this is just going to start the game over, or in the game. The irony of ironies would be if this teleporter took us to a location. Well, instead of teleporting us, it magically transformed us into something. So this was just a gate that we could have used. So I guess you probably, if you played perfectly, could have teleported back with the red tint on the right to go to the tint on the red tint on the left, work your way to everything you couldn't have collected before that point, and then instead of going down and all the way through, you could have maybe teleported back to the red tint and gone a little bit further and then teleported back. I mean, it really wouldn't have changed too much, frankly. But since we've got all the collectibles in these areas, according to the map, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but that would be the biggest irony. You get in a teleporter throughout the many hours of playing this game. You're expecting to be teleported somewhere. It just kills you. It just turns you into a demon lord. There's a lot of things here. So I assume this is the final fight, and the camera's doing a kind of cool thing. We saw it try to do something like this before. It didn't really work. And I'm not controlling anything at this point. I'm just this puppet ghost.
Come out and face me.
I was planning to pay a visit on the Brotherhood. It was unnecessary to send someone special to meet me. I say that because I see you hold one of Gandolfi's weapons in your hand. In their desperation, it seems the Brotherhood have deceived you. Yet I don't know the name of the warrior who wields such a weapon.
Someone for whom your very existence brings shame upon me and my
maybe the events of the first Lord of Shadows game created Dracula, and this is just generations later.
Vengeance for my mother's murder.
So it's personal then. That makes things far more interesting.
I thought Trevor was Dracula.
Revenge is a powerful emotion,
whatever.
It has been my closest companion for many years.
The fact that I have no idea what the story is just goes to show they didn't bother to tell any story here.
I have no interest in getting to know my victims. I don't know your mother, boy.
But you did know her. You knew her very well. I'll tell you her name right before I cut it into your heart.
So we have to select opposite magic to his, I guess. Alright. These don't work. This doesn't work. So neither one of the abilities do anything. I seem to be gaining health when I slash him, which is not what should be happening. And I'm surprised I've even made it to a checkpoint, because I'm not really playing very well. See, I don't know if that's gonna be good enough. Right. Come on, just electrocute this guy. He's like completely unfazed by electricity. He's completely unfazed by a charge attack. The only thing I haven't tried is to see if he has a if he possibly has a phase in which he's interesting. He just switched back and forth. I don't know if I was supposed to be in that maneuver doing something. And again, I'm playing pretty poorly. So yeah, of course he's just gonna kill me. And this is gonna be the sad, pathetic way this just ends. So, I'm hitting right trigger, now I'm hitting left trigger, now I'm hitting, it just seems like he switches back and forth. Alright. Yeah, and that doesn't do anything. So, quit wasting let's skip this. Alright. Alright. So it's really just a lot of left trigger to dodge stuff, and try and dodge and counter as much as possible. I guess the idea is probably also he's gonna actually swap. I'm supposed to be doing the opposite. I assume I'm always supposed to do the opposite and not match when he's doing attacks. Alright. Alright. And this really is just gonna boil down to the game is gonna have to take pity on me. I think, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to survive to the next region, or the next section. Come on. How many of those does he do? So everything you've played up until this point doesn't kind of matter in a weird way. It's just, can you figure out the mechanics of this one boss fight, and if you can, you'll survive, but nothing you've done up until this point matters in any way. And yeah, I'm still not sure that there's a counter. Is that just 5 you have to do? So there are just entire sections you have to try and avoid him. There's nothing but attacks. Alright. If I get really lucky and hit him, maybe I'll start a new phase. Did I get a new phase there? I don't think I did. And even if the game had just given me like a nice free pass there with some extra health, it's not gonna help me any. Alright, come on. I can't get on my feet fast enough to roll out of the way. Now, I think usually I should probably not be using Y, but I can see some points here where you very well might need to use Y. I don't even know why it's bothering to show me cutscenes. Alright. Jump, jump. Alright. Alright. Keep this guy busy. And I need to roll faster. By the way, our massive running abilities and most of our other abilities are not helping in any way in this. Like, there's no way I'm doubling down. What I should do is I should try to throw jump, 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 and start attacking. Yeah, you have to roll forward on that third hit. And then if you see him turtling up, you need to start running away again. Come on. I kind of just need to get lucky once. 1, 2, 3. Just let me get lucky once. And then I'll that was another point where I should have been running for my life. Remember, this is easy. Well, no, this isn't easy. This is normal. So their definition of normal, I think, is not in line. Particularly when you're trying to figure out, like, what is the target market for this game? Who are the people with 3DSs that have any nostalgia for Castlevania at all, or know what it is? And you know, this probably might not have even been a 3DS game. It might have been just a DS game. Come to think of it, I might have been saying that the wrong this whole time. Alright. So it's just all about reading his attacks, I guess. Alright, run away. That was pointless. Like, I can't... I ran all the way to the edge of the screen and it didn't help. This is just unfair. I never want to play this on a harder difficulty. And some of these just don't feel avoidable. Like... Alright, so now I'm trying to run away. Does that help? Is that something I can do? Yeah, and these are not doing anything on them. Alright, run. And I can't run fast enough away. Come on, just get to another checkpoint. Give me enough damage to check to another checkpoint. I don't think there is another one. So the whole lie of this game that, oh, there will be checkpoints in the boss fights is now revealed when the final boss fight, it's totally not doable. I know there's all kinds of combos I could be trying to do, but frankly they don't work. they take too much. They take too much time to press the buttons that you'll never have that freedom to pull them off. Maybe I'm supposed to just run. I'll see if I can run from the things, but I don't know. Yeah. I guess maybe the trick is you're just not supposed to see. I just died there. Like in the first attack, I've already lost. So I don't know if maybe you're not supposed to let him get too far away from you, or maybe when he's shelling up like that, I should change my magic. I guess I'm gonna have to change my magic when he shells up like that. I'm trying my best in that first attack to not get hit, and it hits me every time, leaving me with basically no health. Yeah, and sadly we're in a similar position like we've been before, where like 1 out of 3 ways you start this second phase of the fight, you potentially have lost, and so I might as well just rage quit now. Like I'm trying really hard, and I don't feel like I'm this bad of a Alright, so that does still hurt me if I when he's doing those attacks. And I can't counter this. Alright, so that is the way you defeat the shield parts. At least we've got that part done. So maybe now I can figure it out. Alright. So I was able to break him from trying to do a straight attack. I still have yet been incapable of stopping him from doing that 3 attack combo. Darn it. Darn it. Yeah, he's gonna get like 2 hits on you regardless, because you're just not gonna be able to stand up quick enough. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just gonna have to go a little quiet here. I don't even know which character I'm looking at. Oh, my eyes are going cross-eyed with this. This sucks. I'm not gonna be a proponent of something crazy like there shouldn't have been a final boss fight, but if you can't program something, or at least checkpoint something that makes some sense, then you probably should have just shown a cutscene. I mean, and this is actually only the second time we fought this guy, I guess, because we didn't fight him in Act 1. Come on. Oh, man. And I don't know if the game is ever going to take enough pity on me to give me enough health so that I'm at full health, which is kind of what I needed to do. I kind of need the game to completely glitch out and just let him stand in place and let me beat on him. And yeah, it definitely seems like there's only so much damage you can do per attacks before he'll just get behind you and do his dash attack. And I don't know, after I figured out the alright. Still managed to take some damage, but my health is actually pretty high. So what do I do now? It's just remain calm, remain focused. Alright. And try not to be managed and murdered. Come on. Oh, come on, don't do that attack. Camera doesn't want to cooperate, apparently. Alright. He's almost dead. So, just gotta get lucky. Finally. Is this the end, though? Or am I gonna have to fight him for another phase? Those are quick time events.
Now you'll know who my mother was.
You will never defeat me.
So like I'm flying now in a quick time event?
You will never
This is just another one of those awful experiences, and you kind of can only go left and right and up and down so much. So this feels like a very poor clone of one of the final sequences in Bayonetta 1.
You will never defeat me.
Yeah, and there is something to be said about games saying discouraging words to you as you're dying over and over again, because yeah, that can hurt emotionally after the 50th or 60th time you've died. It's like, how many more of these? Alright. So Trevor Belmont stabs Dracula in the chest. So how is Dracula alive in the future? Then, and the titular Mirror of Fate shows him what? The ghost goes to the mirror. Trevor Belmont is dead. His chest is stabbed. Looks like by himself.
I understand now. I understand everything. I have fought against my fate, even though it was in vain.
That just doesn't make any sense. What's going on now?
You accepted your fate. You were betrayed at every turn.
There's
Yet
some
you still followed the path set
naked
for
angels in the back left.
even when that betrayal included your own wife. Fate is cruel. But in the end, I pity you, Father.
Father? What is this?
So it's father, son,
Marie.
son of Dracula.
Damn you!
So Trevor's father,
Why?
Trevor's son Simon, and Dracula's son. Alright. So Trevor is Alucard, basically. Man, they've done a terrible job explaining this storyline, and I don't think the Castlevania Bloodline stories are really that hard to follow. It's just like every game there's a new Belmonts trying to defeat the same Dracula character. So yes, 3 generations. Trevor / Alucard's father, who is then also, I guess that means Alucard is also the father of Simon, in the same way that Trevor is the father of Simon. So a game directed by one guy, not very well. Original story written by 2 people, when I would say there's no story whatsoever. It was written by 2 people, and I would say there's no story whatsoever. Additional text written by 1 more person. This is an incredibly small number of people that worked on this project. Why would you put the Lord of Shadows name on this, Konami? Why put that stranglehold? As far as the first Lord of Shadows games is concerned, maybe this ties in somewhat, but I think it probably doesn't matter in any way. The one thing I do want to see here is if Patrick Stewart really was paid to do voice acting in this. A lot of art here wasted. A lot of 3D modeling of characters like the witches for 2 seconds, when there could have been a lot more level design and a lot of background art that's done and looks pretty good, but really didn't need to be there. A lot more budget should have been in the early stages of just getting the level layout to work, the gameplay mechanics to work, and having an idea of a game. This really does not feel like a Castlevania or Metroidvania game to me. As somebody who hasn't even played a real Castlevania game, I think you're going to do a lot more grinding in a Castlevania game normally. I think you're going to see a lot more of the castle, and there's going to be a lot more items and leveling up and things like that. Let's see. A couple pieces of music that repeated constantly, one of which had a large kind of jump scare note in it that would just play at random times. And yeah, I don't see a Patrick Stewart listing here, so I either missed it or it's just not being mentioned here. Maybe it's under the Konami UK studio. Maybe the UK studio hired Patrick Stewart and the Japanese voice acting and voices. Well, I guess they would be different, wouldn't they? But that was it for all the people that really worked on the game. And even this UK studio is already done, and they're on to the special thanks. An incredibly small amount of team, which isn't to say much, because it's been a long time, but I kind of think Axiom Verge was made by one person also. So, and it's almost certainly way better than what this is. This is not a game worth playing, and it does get into an interesting point here. Okay, so here's the cast about when you have games like this that are supposedly part of a series, maybe they should just be bundled in on Steam, and thus not yeah, I don't see Patrick Stewart named, so it must have just been somebody that sounded somewhat like him. I don't even know what the name of that puppet character was, so it's hard to tell. So yeah, when you know the quality, when you know it's a Konami game, when you know nowadays Konami games have always kind of sucked. Some of them are good, definitely, but not a lot of them, and definitely none now because they're not even making games. But the Lord of Shadows series probably should just be one bundle. You get this game for free, and you can play it if you want to, or you don't have to if you don't want to. Personally, having spent money on this, it's kind of irritating. I would definitely recommend to people to not bother to play this. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of Metroidvania clones on Steam. That's not to say that they are good, but you can certainly play Axiom Verge. You can certainly play Rogue Legacy. There are at least 30 or 40 good Metroidvanias on Steam and on PC. And if you want to move away from PC gaming, then you can move directly into playing a lot of Metroid games on Nintendo consoles, and you'll be perfectly fine with that too. And you could probably find some of the older Castlevania games for the most part on Nintendo consoles. QA testers, I guess the quality of this game wasn't terrible. Just some wonkiness here and there. The game never crashed. The audio never clipped out. This game does have an odd feature though, where it seems to me, unless something else is wrong with my computer, and I don't think it is, seems like this game is holding the Alt key down or something, so I can't hit Alt Tab as long as the game is running, which is a problem because I hit Alt Tab quite a bit. This is a 2014 release according to that copyright. That's really recent. That's only 5 years ago. Now we've unlocked hardcore mode difficulty, haha, and boss rush mode, and a new bestiary unlocked, the Lost Soul. Game finished at 100%. Extra cinematic unlocked. You can view it from the main menu. Okay. So, chapter selection is 100%ed. Let's look at the cinematic. So, I assume all of these are cutscenes that we've seen throughout the game before, so let's just see this one. This Mirror of Fate seems to literally just show the fate of people looking in it. So there's an Alucard flying as a bat.
Farewell.
And there's the oddly Scottish Simon Belmont, who is his son, or in previous life, I guess, was his son. Yeah, nothing really there. That special. Boss rush mode on easy. Let's just jump in here and see what this would look like. Like, I imagine it's pretty much nothing. They're going to still show you the cutscenes for some reason. That's not really a boss rush mode. Alright. So let's come over here. So his name was Lost Soul. Lost Soul is fate itself, the physical manifestation of the mirror. Anyone who is near its influence will be manipulated and guided to their unavoidable destiny. Yeah. Thanks for not explaining any of that in the game and making me jump all the way out to the menu. I guess if you do boss rush, you're at level 17, so like how hard would it be to really win here? Like how many seconds is it gonna take? There you go, just throw a bunch of things at him. Yep. These guys still take a couple of hits. Let's throw a couple more at these guys. And your magic is so high at this point, you can take this guy out kind of easily. Alright. Yeah, it's really only going to take like a couple of minutes to be the boss. But then you get into this garbage, which they kind of never did again, come to think of it. Like, you get into this pattern stuff, and they do it this one time, and then that is it. Up. There seems to be a bit of a limiter on how much damage I can do to this guy, though. It seems like I should be able to do more, but it's not happening. And you're getting basically invincible frames when you roll. Like I'm rolling directly into the fire of this, and it's not really doing anything. So, like, just roll away from it. It's barely doing any damage to me also, because it wasn't ever really hurting me. But what's the point of doing all of this? Because, you know, that Dracula fight, even on easy, is still going to be a nightmare. That final boss fight will still take over 30 minutes, I bet. It took me 30 minutes here to do this. To beat the final Dracula fight. And skip. And then it just moves us forward. And I don't even remember like half of these guys. Alright, let's see. Exit to main menu. Back. And yeah, there's kind of nothing here. Let's see if the leaderboards actually work. I imagine they don't. Or they're probably... I would bet they're offline completely. Now I can't hit cancel. So, yeah. Pretty much not worth playing. Frustrating in quite a few different places. Yeah, it seems like all the names have been expunged, probably because people were putting dirty words in it, and then the scores are still here. Although you can see that probably the top 4 of these are cheating, and then possibly the top 11 otherwise are also cheating. So a new game will keep your experience level and skills have changed, but as the chest is scrolls and things. However, the chapter selection section will no longer be available, and you have to recover the magical abilities, secondary weapons, relics, and other things. So I could restart the adventure, and if I was going to do that, here we could play in hardcore mode. And let's see, hard mode says if you've played Castlevania Lord of Shadows before and want combat which offers a challenge, select hard. There will be no level or boss checkpoints, and by default all minimap navigation aids will be turned off, although they can be re-enabled in game. And when you play in hardcore mode, there will be no level boss checkpoints, and by default all minimap navigation aids will be turned off, although they can be enabled in game. So there's no difference at all between hard and hardcore, it seems. Generally speaking, hardcore implies that you might only have one life, but I don't know how that would really work in this game. That would be insane. Yeah, the fact that this game got released at all is kind of insane. It needed a couple more years, a lot more polish, a lot of redesign thoughts so that we would switch between characters throughout the entirety of the game instead of just in different acts. The story could have been told a lot better. There could have been a lot more story to tell, quite frankly. There could have been half as many enemies. There's a lot of variety of enemies in this game for as rare as you actually see and fight them. The zombies, for instance, at the very beginning of the game, you see them maybe 5 times throughout the entirety of the game, when they could have been always around, always popping up. That's going to be it for this series, though. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. When you subscribe, click that notification bell. I have a playlist on my YouTube channel, my YouTube page, for every game I've ever covered, so you can go back and watch Castlevania Lord of Shadows 1, which is the good game, or at least a lot better than this is, and plenty of other games that I've covered. And also, there's links to all kinds of social media sites where you can follow me and get backup notifications for when new videos come out. And if you want to support me, which would be greatly appreciated, there's links down below to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.